Welcome back, children. Today I will be taking up modals, which are also called auxiliary verbs. So let's begin with modals. So we begin with modals. Modal auxiliaries are helping verbs which are not affected by person or gender. For example, will, would, shall, should, may, might, can, could, ought, must, dare, need, or used to. These auxiliaries express the mode or manner of the actions denoted in the main verb. In other words, we can say the finites which express the mode or manner of the actions denoted in the principal verb, they are termed as modals. This class of helping verbs not only assists in forming questions and negatives but expresses a wide range of meaning. Now, here I would like to tell you that need, dare and used to, they are called semi-modals. Now, what is the nature of modals? The peculiar nature of the modals is that modals are never used alone. That means they should have a principal verb with them. For example, I can play the violin. Here, play is the main verb, whereas the helping verb is, or the auxiliary is, can. Another thing, modals don't change according to the number or person of the subject. That means they have the same form throughout, whatever the person and number of subject is. They can be used with singular subject, they can be used with plural subject. For example, I can run, they can run, you can run, etc. Third point is they don't have infinites or participle form. We can't place to with them or the past participle form or right, can, driven, etc. I am giving you an example over here. We must to get there before time. So this is an incorrect sentence because here with modal must we are using to. So this is wrong. The correct sentence will be we must get there before time. In most of the cases they show present or future time. Now what are the uses of modals? The first modal that we are taking up over here is shall. Shall is used to express future with the first person. First person means I or we. I shall sing a song tomorrow. Here the future tense is being reflected. We shall play a match in the evening. Again the future is expressed. Then to express a command, a threat or a promise. You shall leave this place at once. This is a command. If you make a noise, you shall be punished. This is a threat. He shall get a prize if he wins the match. Now here, a promise is being made. In interrogative sentences, shall is used with the first person to indicate offer or suggestion and with the third person to know the desire of the person spoken to. We are taking the example of offer. It is, shall I make a cup of tea for you? So, this is an offer. Which book shall I buy? This is a suggestion. A person is asking a suggestion. Shall the porter carry your box upstairs? So, it is just asking, do you want it to be done? Do you want the porter to carry your box upstairs? So, here it is again a desire. Shall the porter carry your box upstairs? The next example is, shall the messenger wait for the reply? So, do you want the messenger to wait? Fourth point, in a complex sentence, however, will and shall are always used in the principal clause and never in the subordinate clause. I shall help him. Here, it is the principal clause. If he works for me. This is the reason being asked. I shall help him if he works for me. If he works for me is the subordinate clause. So over here we have not used will or shall. Will is used only in the doubtful case. This is an exception. Now we come to should, which is the past form of shall, where we are going to use it to express duty or obligation. We should keep our word. So this is an obligation or a duty. To express supposition, if I should meet him now, he will not recognize me. It is the person is supposing, the express of supposition. To express advice, you should not tell a lie. Then to express condition, should this happen, I will resign. Here a condition is being linked. I said that I should sing a song the next day. The direct speech is I said I shall sing a song tomorrow. So in indirect speech it is I said that I should sing a song the next day. After lest, which shows fear. Walk carefully lest you should stumble. Here I would like to tell you that negative form of shall will be shall not, and for should it is should not or shouldn't. Now we move on to the next modal, that is will. It is used in the second person and third person to express simple future time. He will go home today. So he over here is the third person. We are talking about a third person over here. You will admit that he was in the wrong. Second person. Next come to express intention, promise, threat and determination. I will go home today. So this is an intention. I will try to do better next time. This is a promise. I will avenge his death. This is a threat that has been given. I will do or die. This is determination. To express assumption or request. Will you please open the door? This is a request. He will be here anytime. This is assumption. To indicate characteristics or habit, insistence, invitation. He will be talking all the time without doing anything. So here we are talking about somebody's habit. This machine will work very well and will not give any trouble. This is the characteristic of the machine that has been given over here. Will you have tea? This is an invitation. He will not follow my instructions. This is insistence. What we have to remember over here, in the interrogative sentence, will is never used with the first person. Then we have would, which is the past form of will. Already said past tense, past form of will. So as past tense of will in indirect speech, the statement in the direct speech is he said to me, I will go to Delhi. So what will be the sentence in indirect speech? He told me that he would go to Delhi. To express a habit in the past, he would sit all day with the book in his hand. Here would can be substituted by the modal used to. He used to sit all day with the book in his hand. To express willingness, I would do my best to satisfy you. To express wish, would that I were wealthy. So here it is a wish that is being expressed. To express a request, would you please open the door? We can say we can also use will you please open the door. But why we are expressing would over here? Because it is more polite than will you. Then the next modal that we have is can. It is used to express ability. I can swim across a river. Here a person is expressing his ability of swimming across a river. To express permission, you can go now. To express possibility, this road can be blocked. It is a theoretical, it is not a practical possibility, it is just an imagination that a person is making a possibility that the road can be blocked. Now what is the difference between the indicating a theoretical possibility and factual? Can indicates a theoretical possibility and may a factual. Can never express past time. In the past and the future tense forms are was or were able to and shall or will be able to. He was not able to solve the problem. This is past. I hope he will be able to solve the problem. This is in future. Now could, the past form of can. Again, as it is the past form, so we will be using it in past tense. He said, I can solve the problem. The sentence in direct speech. Now, how we are going to change it in indirect speech? He said that he could solve the problem. Simply can converted into could. To express ability in the past. I could swim across the river when I was young. That means the person is not young. Now, to express polite request. Could you please let me have your book? To express possibility. This road could be blocked. To express permission. Could I use your telephone? These are more polite words. The next modal that we have is may. May is used to express permission. That means either to give or take permission. You may not go or may I come in. Another example I am taking up. Yes, you may come in. The next use is to express possibility. He may come today. So this is a possibility. The road may be blocked today due to the procession. So this is a possibility. She may win the match. You may attend the school today. These are all examples of possibility. To indicate a purpose. We eat that we may live. So what is the purpose behind eating? That we may live. My friend is joining a new company so that he may achieve his target. He is working hard so that he may win. May is also used to express a wish, faith or hope. May you live long, may his soul rest in peace, etc. Now we will be discussing the past form of may, that is might. It is used to express a suggestion. He might join college. To express less possibility. He might win a prize. He might help us. To express purpose. He worked hard that he might live. Might, we know it is the past form of may. He said Ram may come. In indirect speech, the sentence will be he said that Ram might come. To express permission. Might I begin my lecture? To express guess. That might be the peon. Then we have must. Must is used to express compulsion. You must carry out my orders. Here a person is being compelled to carry out the orders. To express determination. I must finish the work by next Tuesday at any cost. To express some strong possibility. There must be some mistakes somewhere. To express obligation or duty. You must follow orders of your seniors. Now, some exceptions. In the negative or interrogative sentence, must is not used in this sense. Instead of it, can is used. Ought, always followed by a to infinitive. To express moral obligations, duty or desirability. You ought to love your elders. Here, till now we have seen that we were not using to. But with these modals or auxiliaries, we use to along with them. The idea of obligation can also be expressed with should or must, like you should love your elders or you must love your elders. However, ought to is used when a feeling of duty is involved. The negative form of ought to is ought not to. To express probability or to give advice. The person ought to be humble. Then we have dare. Dare as a modal auxiliary means be bold enough to or be courageous. It is commonly used in interrogative and negative sentences. Dare he fight with me? He dare not fight with me. She does not dare speak to her father. The point to remember, it does not take S in the third person singular subject in present tense. When it occurs without do, it takes an infinitive without to. He dare not do it. Now, need. Need is used to express necessity in negative and interrogative sentences. Here, need also doesn't take S in the third person singular present tense and takes for its objects an infinitive without to. He need not go, need I go there? You need not have wasted your time in gossips. This is a negative sentence. Now used to. It is used to express past habit. I used to play in that playground when I was child. So this is a past habit. To express the existence of something in the past. There used to be an open ground long ago. That means the open ground doesn't exist now. All the modals are given in a tabular form graphical representation with which it is easy for you to remember. Use of shall to express future time, to express command, to express promise, to express threat, to express determination, to express permission, to express suggestion, and to ask willingness of the person. Use of should in indirect speech to express duty, to express obligation, to express possibility, to express unreal condition, to express purpose, to express wish, to express probability. Same way, we have the use of will and use of would. Then use of can, use of could. After that, we have use of may and use of might. Use of must, use of ought, all are explained over here. Use of must is in this portion and use of ought over here. Dare, use of need and used to. After that, 2 short exercises for you to practice. First exercise, fill in the blanks with suitable modals. Here a conversation is given between a father and a daughter and you have to fill it. Next exercise is again a conversation. You have to fill the blanks with suitable modals. That is all for today. Goodbye.